Merry Christmas. This is a reading about Ebenezer. Okay, the word Ebenezer is probably most notable for Christmas from not the book I'm reading from. It's probably a Charles Dickens book. I am going to read you, of course, the Bible that mentions Ebenezer. Now, it appears to me it's like a place or a landmark, not so much a person. So I'm reading it's in 1 Samuel 4, 1 Samuel 5, and 1 Samuel 7. So I'm going to read 1 Samuel 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay? 1 Samuel 4, starts a section. It starts section B, the ark in Philistine hands, the defeat of the captor of the ark. Okay, so 1 Samuel 4. It happened at that time the Philistines mustered to fight Israel, and Israel went out to meet them in battle, encamping near Ebenezer, while the Philistines were encamped at Aphek. The Philistines drew up their battle line against Israel. The battle was hotly engaged, and Israel was defeated by the Philistines. At about 4,000 of their army were killed on the field. The troops returned to the camp, and the elders of Israel said, "Why has the Lord allowed us to be defeated today by the Philistines? Let us fetch the ark of our God from Shiloh, so that it may come among us and rescue us from the power of our enemies." So that the troops sent to Shiloh and brought away the ark of the Lord. He who is seated on the cherubs, the 2 sons of Eli, Hophni, and Phinehas, came with the ark. When the ark of the Lord arrived in the camp, all Israel gave a great shout, so that the earth resounded. When the Philistines heard the noise of the shouting, they said, "What can this great shouting in the Hebrew camp mean?" And they all realized that the ark of the Lord had come into the camp. At this, the Philistines were afraid. They said, "God has come into the camp." Alas, they cried, "This never happened before. Alas, who will save us from the power of this mighty God? It was he who struck down the Egypt with every kind of plague. Take courage and be men, Philistines, or you will become slaves to the Hebrews, as they have been slaves to you. Be men and fight." So the Philistines joined the battle, and Israel was defeated, each man fleeing to his tent. The slaughter is great indeed. There fell the Israelites 30,000 foot soldiers, and the ark of God was captured too. And the 2 sons of Eli died, Hophni and Phinehas. The death of Eli is starting at line 12. A Benjaminite ran from the battle line, reaching Shiloh the same day in his torn clothes and dust on his head. When he arrived, Eli was there, sitting on his seat beside the gate, watching the road, for his heart trembled for the ark of God. This man then came to the town, bringing the news, whereupon the cries filled the town. Eli heard the uproar and asked, "What does this great outcry mean?" And they made haste and told Eli. Eli was 98 years old. His gaze was fixed. He was blind. The man said to Eli, "I have come from the camp. I escaped from the ranks." "My son," said Eli, "what happened?" The messenger replied, "Israel has fled before the Philistines. The army has been utterly routed. What is worse, your 2 sons are dead. The ark of God has been captured." When he mentioned the ark of God, Eli fell backward off his seat by the gate. His neck was broken, and he died. He was old and heavy. He had ruled Israel for 40 years. And then there's the death of his wife, Phinehas. Okay, now his daughter-in-law, the wife of Phinehas, his daughter-in-law, the wife of Phinehas, was with child. and near her time, when she heard the news that the ark of God was captured and that her father-in-law and her husband were dead, she crouched down and gave birth. Her labor pains came on. When she was at the point of death, the woman standing around her said, "Don't be afraid. You gave birth to the son." But she didn't answer, and she took no notice. She named the boy Ichabod, saying, "The glory has gone from Israel." Thinking of her father-in-law and her husband and the capture of the ark of God, she said, "The glory has gone from Israel because the ark of God has been captured." When the Philistines had captured the ark of God, they brought it from Ebenezer. Okay, so the ark was in Ebenezer, to Ashdod. Taking the ark of God, the Philistines put it in the temple of Dagon and setting it down beside Dagon. The next morning, the people of Ashdod went to the temple of Dagon, and there laid Dagon face down on the ground before the ark of the Lord. They picked up Dagon and put him back on his place, but early the next morning there laid Dagon down again, face down on the ground before the ark of the Lord. And Dagon's head and his two hands were lying severed on the threshold, broken. Its only trunk of Dagon was left in its place. That's why the priests of Dagon and all who enter into Dagon's temple, they do not step on the threshold of Ashdod to this very present day. The hand of the Lord weighed heavily on the people of Ashdod and struck terror into them, inflicting them with tumors. Ashdod and its territory. When the men of Ashdod saw what was happening, they said, "The ark of God of Israel must not stay here with us, for his hand lies heavily on us and on Dagon our God." So they summoned all the Philistines' chiefs to them and said, "What shall we do with the ark of God of Israel?" They decided that the ark of God must go away to Gath. So they took the ark of God of Israel to Gath. But after they had taken it there, the hand of the Lord lay heavy on the town, and a great panic broke out. The people of the town, from the youngest to the oldest, were struck with tumors that he brought out on them. Then they sent the ark of God to Ekron. But when it came to Ekron, the Ekronites shouted, "They have the ark of God of Israel to bring death to us and our people." They summoned all the Philistines' chiefs and said, "Send the ark of God of Israel away. Let it go back to where it belongs and not bring death to us and our people." For there was mortal panic throughout the whole town. The hand of God was very heavy there, and the people who did not die were struck with tumors, and the wailing from the town went up to heaven. The ark of the Lord was in the Philistine territory for 7 months. Then the Philistines called for their priests, the diviners, and asked, "What shall we do with the ark of the Lord? Tell us how to send it back to where it belongs." They replied, if you do send the ark of God of Israel away, if you do send the ark of the God of Israel away, you must not send it away empty. You must pay him a guilt offering. Then you will be healed, and you will know why his hand would not turn away from you. They then asked, "What guilt offering ought we to pay him?" They answered, "In proportion to the number of the Philistine chiefs, 5 golden tumors and models of your rats. For the plague was the same for you all as for your chiefs. So you must make models of your tumors and models of the rats that ravage your country. You must pay honor to the God of Israel. Then perhaps he will lighten his hand on you and your gods and your country. Why should you be as stubborn as Egypt and Pharaoh were? After he had brought all the evil on them, did they not let them leave? Now take then and fit out a new cart and 2 milch cows that have never borne the yoke, and harness the cows to the cart and take the calves back to the buyer. B-Y-R-E, it's spelled here. Then take the ark of the Lord and place it on the cart, and put the golden objects which you are paying him as a guilt offering in a box beside it, and let it go its way. And watch it. If it goes up the road to its own territory, to Beth Shemesh, then it was he who did us this great harm. But if not, we will know that it was not his hand that struck us, but that this happened to us by chance. And the people did this, and they took 2 milch cows and harnessed them to the cart and shut up the calves in the byre. Then the place of the ark of the Lord on the cart, and the box, and the golden rats, and the models of the tumors, and the cows made straight for Beth Shemesh, keeping onto one road, lowing as they went, turning neither right or left. The Philistine chiefs followed them as far as the boundaries of Beth Shemesh. The people at Beth Shemesh were reaping the wheat harvest in the plain when, raising their eyes, they saw the ark and went joyfully to meet it. When the cart came into the field of Joshua of Beth Shemesh, it stopped. There was a large stone there, and they cut up the wood of the cart and offered the cows as a holocaust to the Lord. The Levites had taken down the ark of the Lord and the box containing the golden objects besides it, and placed all this upon the large stone. The men of Beth Shemesh offered holocausts that day and offered sacrifices to the Lord. And when the Philistines' chiefs had seen this, they went back to Ekron the same day. These were the golden tumors the Philistines paid as a guilt offering to the Lord. 1 for Ashdod, 1 for Gaza, 1 for Ashkelon, 1 for Gath, 1 for Ekron, as also the golden rats to the number of all the Philistines' towns of the 5 chiefs, from fortified towns to open villages. The large stone on which they placed the ark of the Lord is a witness to the present day. In the field of Joshua of Beth Shemesh, of the people of Beth Shemesh, the sons of Jeconiah had not rejoiced when they saw the ark of the Lord, and he struck down 70 of them. The people mourned because the Lord had struck them so fiercely. The men of Beth Shemesh had said, "Who can stand his ground before the Lord, his holy God? To whom shall we let him go up away from us?" So they sent messengers to the inhabitants of Kiriath-jearim, saying, "The Philistines have sent back the ark of the Lord. Come down and take it up to your town." And the men of Kiriath-jearim came, and they took the ark of the Lord and brought it to the house of Abinadab on the hill, and consecrated Eleazar his sons to guard the ark of the Lord. And this next section is 7. It says, Samuel, the judge and liberator. From the day that the ark settled in Kiriath-jearim, a long time passed, 20 years. The whole house of Israel longed for the Lord. Then Samuel said to the whole house of Israel, "If you are returning to the Lord with all your heart, put aside the foreign gods you now have, and the Astartes too, Astartes, and set your heart on the Lord and serve him alone, and he will deliver you from the hand of the Philistines." And the Israelites put aside the Baals and the Astartes and served the Lord alone. Then Samuel said, "Muster all Israel at Mizpah, and I will plead with the Lord for you." So they mustered at Mizpah and drew the water and poured it out before the Lord. They fasted that day and declared, "We have sinned against the Lord." And it was at Mizpah that Samuel was judge over the Israelites. The Philistines came to hear the children of Israel had mustered at Mizpah, and the Philistine chiefs marched against Israel. Israelites heard of this and grew afraid of the Philistines. They said to the Samuel, "Do not cease calling on the Lord our God to save us from the power of the Philistines." Then Samuel took a sucking lamb and offered it as a holocaust to the Lord, and he called on the Lord on behalf of Israel, and the Lord answered his prayer. While Samuel was offering the holocaust, the Philistines approached to give Israel battle, but the Lord thundered with a great noise that day against the Philistines and threw them into a panic so that they were routed before Israel. The men of Israel went out from Mizpah in pursuit of the Philistines and struck them down far as below Beth-kar. Then Samuel took a stone and erected it between Mizpah and Jeshanah and gave it the name Ebenezer. A stone. So it's a stone erected between Mizpah and Jeshanah. It has the name Ebenezer, saying, "Thus far has the Lord aided us." And that's line 1 Samuel 7, line 12. So the Philistines were humbled, and they no longer came into Israelite territory. And the hand of the Lord lay on the Philistines all Samuel's lifetime. The town of the Philistines had taken from Israel. The towns that the Philistines had taken from Israel were given back. From Ekron to Gath, Israel freed their territory from the power of the Philistines. And there was peace now between Israel and the Amorites. Samuel was judge over Israel as long as he lived. Each year he went on circuit through Bethel and Gilgal and Mizpah, and he judged Israel in all these places. He would then return to Ramah, for his home was there. There too he judged Israel, and there he built an altar to the Lord. And then the next section is section 2, Saul and Samuel, the institution of a monarchy. The people ask for a king, chapter 8.